Like, if you made a mistake, be honest and be like, I screwed that up. But at the same time, give yourself grace and understand that you can make mistakes and that's fine. Both of those things can be true. What I just did there was bad or poor play or a bad decision, and I am a human being worthy of love and value, right? Some of y'all like, hold on. Where's that Sonic picture? And again, it tends to be these same people, by the way. Why am I not improving as fast as I want to improve, right? But some of y'all really need to see this one. You know what I mean? All right, folks, we are back for more Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising action for you here, and we are doing a little bit more replay review. And you know what? This is the rare replay review, or maybe I can get to 2 people in this video. Who knows? We have Azerzia here, Azure, friend of the stream there, who... This is from a while ago. Okay, again, people are posting lots of replays in the channel, and I only get to them every now and then, and even when I do get to them, I tend to, I tend to, take 30 minutes to talk about one 5-minute replay. You can see the scroll bar right here, right? I'm like halfway down, and there sure is a lot of other shit in here, but we're doing our best. So, they probably, they're in the chat right now. They're mentioning they probably, they've learned a lot of stuff since then. But, maybe their the position they were in here can be educational to some other people who have not learned the same things that Azure has yet. So let's talk about it. I mean, again, this is a 2-minute video, by the way. So there's like hopefully there's a real hope. There's a real chance in here that maybe we can get to more things. However, if it's like, you're getting blown up a bunch, there's probably a lot to talk about. So we'll see. What's going on, Forgiven? All right, this match had a good start, and then I messed up a corner setup by a few frames. Classic Zoe moments. Again, this is pre-patch, right? But we'll talk mostly fundamentals anyway, not really character specifics, right? So it shouldn't really matter. End up getting thrown out of it. It helps a lot when I'm not too warmed up. This is one of those cases. The last was on me. I think if I had to set up land, I could have easily won the whole match. After the Seahawks threw me out of it, the match went all into their favor. Yeah, sometimes you like lose the rhythm, right? You lose the rhythm. Like you're doing really well. You're in like the flow state. You make one mistake and you're like fuck, and then everything just goes downhill from there. Like mentally, you're thrown off. It is all mental at the end of the day, right? Kind of bad at looking at replays for what to do differently on my end, but I feel like there's definitely my defense and offense has struggled here. So I feel like I was gapped in every way except the start. Just super clean on my end. Also throwing them, I'm working on doing run-up delayed close age for counter hits. Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's see what this looks like. This is Zoe versus Seahawks, right? So I mean, again, we talk about. It's good to mention. There's some things that are gonna be mentioned basically at the start of every one of these replay reviews, probably. And one of them is, again, we're gonna be looking at when you get hit and when you lose your turn as sort of the default places to pause and think about what happened and what we could do better. Everyone can do that for their own replays too. And the other thing is something I've been really liking talking about recently. If you've watched any of the replay videos, what's going on, Empress? Is the idea again of one of the first layer ways to analyze a matchup is with this idea of the aggressor and the defender, right? Like who is, again, every character in Grand Blue especially, but in most fighting games, every character is very happy to have it be their turn on offense with you in the corner, right? No matter how defensive they normally are, I get it. But who thrives more in the mid-range and who is, who would like to maintain that space and who is less likely to, if both characters are near each other, who's less likely to be able to take their turn? Right, like, faster characters, rush down characters have more neutral skips, more plus frames, things like this, right? So, in this case, obviously, I mean, Seahawks is one of those characters who is, unless he's fighting Ladiva, is Seahawks, like, number 2? Like, unless Seahawks is fighting Ladiva, even in the Ladiva matchup in a lot of ways, he still, like, wants sometimes to, like, just try and bully her and get in, right? But, like, unless Seahawks is fighting Ladiva, I think he wants to be the aggressor almost all the time. Right, and Zoe is baseline. She can be a very defensive character if need be. There are lots of characters that Zoe can kind of keep away from her with her dragon, with like her OK buttons in the mid screen. So, like, on that note, obviously here, one of the big things I'm going to be looking for is some amount of attempt to keep this very bright and prismatic Seahawks, very bright and prismatic match actually, somewhat away from you. So this looks like the startup of a spinning slash right here. I struggle losing a lot of turns even when I knew I could win. Yeah, I mean it's hard to like losing your turn can happen in a lot of different ways, but. We'll see if there's any good examples in here that we can talk about in particular. This is a spinning slash startup, and I think he's doing like empty hands. So this is a very aggressive start by both of them. Yeah, yeah. I believe it's spinning slash and empty, like frame 1 spinning slash and empty hand. That's this is sure. What's going on, Besu? Okay, so it clashes. Sure. So funny thing about clashing, I think even so normally neither of these specials are normally cancelable. I think if like both of you were like crazy quick on the draw right here. I believe you both could have canceled into aerials right here. I think the Seahawks could have like JL'd or something. Now, he might have still gotten beaten by the follow-ups from Spinning Slash, but clashing lets you cancel literally anything. Like you can cancel. Lydia can cancel her 2U into like a JL because she's airborne, right? Anyway, Spinning Slash wins the clash here. That's fine. Cool. Delayed close age. Amazing. I know you said you played the beginning of this pretty well. So let's see how it develops. Okay. This is, I mean, an attempt at more stagger pressure, I suppose. And he just matched on you, sure. I'd like, I guess already for this, because this is one of the, you lost your turn right here. This isn't a mistake, right? To try stagger pressure and get matched. Yes, you know, you tried some RPS and they guessed correctly. But I'll be curious to see how you run your offense moving forward, because this is one of the things where, like, if the very first thing the guy does is match on your plus frames, that is a lot of information for you, right? So I'd be leaving a lot few. I'd be like frame trapping a lot more than I would be doing, you know, delayed stagger pressure at this point. Okay, not bad. Where's this mythical setup that gets missed and you get thrown? Right here? Yeah, okay. So I don't know exactly if this is like just like the wrong setup for it or something. I should have kept my pressure tight instead of staggering like that. I mean, so in hindsight, right there, yes, they matched on it, so yes. But doing the staggers isn't a problem in and of itself. It's just when you once you have the knowledge, like you just picked an option. You have to pick an option. When you have no read on your opponent, you have to pick an option. It's layer 1, right? But when they match on plus frames, frame 1, then you got to stop staggering for a little bit and just, you know, keep them, make sure they respect you before you try it again, right? Yeah, so it's just, yeah, mistimed, sure. Maybe a little bit late on the cancel or something like that. So how do things go bad from here? Okay, yeah. That is, you can do a lot of different things. So that little shadow clone there, you can like hit it. You can roll out of it. I mean, jumping over it is usually a bad idea, right? Even if you block it, I think he's like a little bit plus in your face, depending on if he goes into it or not. Got hit by the overhead. Okay. So yeah, I mean, one thing is if you just kind of universally, right? This is kind of, you're doing the same thing the Seahawks did earlier. He's plus here, right? He's plus 2, I think, when you hit an overhead universally. So it's not a ton, but matching here is certainly not your turn, right? Okay, he swept you into empty hand. You tried to brave counter preemptively and got raging struck. Definitely like a little bit of impatience throughout this whole little interaction right here, right? But I think probably a little bit of frustration. Again, you missed your setup, like you mentioned, right? You got clipped by a fireball there. You got clipped there. You got clipped here. It's like you just want your turn back really badly, right? You lost your turn off of what was, you know, an honest mistake, but, you know, maybe a bit of an annoying mistake, maybe. And I just really want your turn back, so you're really scrambling for it. And I don't think that's necessarily. I mean, I know you probably know this at this point. So looking at this, I'm screaming at myself right now. Yeah, like I know, Azure, I know you're a lot better than this right now. But like it's you know. Something, I think it's something that happens to a lot of people. You make a mistake, it's like almost like a corollary of this, a parallel of this. Have you ever seen someone like do something? Like they, I don't know, they like DP or something, right? And it doesn't work, but like it doesn't work not because the opponent hard read it, because they misspaced it or something like that. They don't get punished, whatever. Like, it just kind of whiffs, right? Maybe. And then they immediately, the first thing they do is run up and do it again, because they just want to prove to themselves that it could have worked and that was a good idea. Like people get there's a lot, like sometimes, you know, I'll like whiff a command grab, you know, but like I whiffed a command grab not because they guessed it, but because I was like, you know, out of range or I mistimed it or something. And like the very next thing I'll do when I have a turn is command grab again to be like, no, see, it would have worked if I'm in the same situation. Like, no, I was right, guys. I don't know who guys are. Like I don't know if I'm doing that shit for a fucking like live studio audience or whatever. But like it's a very common mental like loop that people fall into, and in fact you can kind of exploit this against people. If you know that someone just fucked something up, like if you saw them make a mistake, they will very likely try the exact same thing again next time, unless they're, you know, a little bit cool-headed, right? And you're falling into a similar thing right here, where you lost your turn, but you shouldn't have lost your turn, quote unquote, right? You lost your turn, but it was because of a mistake that, you know, it wasn't like him giving you a read, it wasn't something like, it was just, I just like messed up, but I should have had that turn still. And now for that reason, I think you're very thirsty to get that turn back. And Seahawks is beating the shit out of you for that purpose. Maybe not intentionally, but it's how it's working out, right? Okay, so let's, what else happens here? It's kind of eating this Seahawks corner combo. Yeah, sure. Absolutely, that's what it was. Yeah, it's, you know, it's very common. Happens to everyone. Plus on block there. Yeah, okay, and that was just, you know, plus on block, he ate the throw. Fair enough. Unfortunate. My mental wasn't the best back then either. It's a tough skill, man. Okay. Round start empty hand. Round start empty hand twice from the Seahawks, by the way. Like that's the kind of thing that. I mean, I know it's probably just. I think this is the last. This is just one match, but if this was like a longer set, it's kind of thing you definitely want to start looking out for it. The round start empty hands. Ow. Okay, so what's happening here? So it's kind of like. Yeah, I mean, this is good patience, kind of staggering some 6SLs. You got thrown. Yeah, I mean, delay teching is certainly a thing I know you know about now. Maybe you didn't know about quite as much back then, but obviously delay mash, if you don't know, right? Delay mash just being like, you know, At least for in terms of delay, like throw teching. There's a 16 frame throw tech window in this game, and you can tech by hitting a button. You don't have to tech with the throw button. You can tech by hitting like your light button or something. So if you just like down back and hit 2L on a delay, right? If they just run up and hit you, you'll block it, and if they run up and throw you, there's a much bigger gap there. You'll tech the throw, right? And it kind of lets you automatically, quote unquote, tech throws without too much risk involved. But of course, there's answers to that too. They can delay their hit even more and like counter hit close HU or something. But it's definitely a good baseline thing to have going on there, because the Seahawks was staggering your ass quite a bit there. Sure, a couple of misconversions with the mid screen. This, I assume, was just kind of like you just kind of 6XLing anyway, and you didn't quite recognize the blue flash in time. A little bit of lack of vigilance in the neutral there. Unfortunately, Seahawks one and done you here. That's unfortunate, certainly. Yeah, okay. I think there's something to talk about here. We'll talk about it when the round's over, but I feel like I can kind of. Okay, that's not bad. That's good. Get your dragon gauge back. Try for a delayed close H right there. That's but he didn't bite. That's fine. Nice block on the low. No punish. Didn't quite react to it, though. I think he can cancel that anyway. So it shouldn't normally be punishable, but he just forgot to cancel it right there. Yeah, fair to match there in case he does. Oh my lord! Oh, he didn't punish you for that, but okay, you brave countered again. Okay. Most of the match can be summed up to my bad autopilot. Yeah. So I think more so than anything, because I mean your autopilot is, again, like when you are first fighting someone before you know anything about them, you're also autopiloting, right? Because you kind of have to. You have a layer 1 that you're just going for, and your autopilot is actually quite good for the first bit of this match, right? I feel like it worked out pretty well. I feel like what this can actually be, like right here, you're autopiloting too. You don't know anything. It's not like you're playing like a super deep, like 7-layer mind game with the Seahawks. You don't know anything about him, right? In fact, you know less about him here than you do later in the round. So you're autopiloting even more, and you're still doing decently. I think more so what it comes down to, Azure, is what you were talking about earlier. I think this is just this is a good example of, and this happens to everyone, but this is a good example of your mental, right? I think I'm not like, I know you said it here, so like it's kind of easy for me to pick up on that, but then with you having said that, and then with me watching how this match went after that one missed setup, I could really, like, you just like, I think you just kind of imploded here, right? Like this more so than anything, I don't think really is like a matter of fundamentals, of character knowledge. I mean, you're S4 in this clip, so surely there's a lot. I'm sure there's better stuff you could be doing on Zoe. There's better stuff you could be doing against Seahawks. But that, like, for the current skill level that you're at in this clip, I don't think that's the problem at all here, right? It's not that you're like, in fact, doing things like delayed close H's, like stagger pressure. Like, I think you're way ahead of where your skill level should be for that rank right there, right? I feel like you're doing pretty well. What the thing that actually beat you up here, I think, is just your mental exploded. You like made a mistake. You tried something that was a little bit more complicated. You made a mistake, and you were just like, that shouldn't have happened. And I don't know what exactly your internal monologue sounded like right there, but things went really, really downhill from there, right? Because at this point, like, you're mashing on plus frames in this round, and then in the next round, I feel like you're playing with a lot less confidence, right? This Seahawks just gets to basically do whatever the hell he wants. Like this round, look at this, right from the start. This Seahawks is just doing whatever the hell he wants the entire round, right? You're almost never you're almost never really trying to stop him doing anything. That's a good 2M right there, right? But you're playing a lot more with a lot less confidence, I think, in this round overall, right? Like, you're missing conversions, you're missing punishes, because like you're just like, oh, I mean, yeah, you're not really reading the Seahawks in the same way, right? So I feel like this feels to me like the big thing that just went wrong here is you made one mistake and you kind of let that mental boom you for the rest of the set. You're like maybe even right here, you're still thinking about that dropped lightning setup. I don't know. But the point is, I think it's more of a mental thing than anything. The good news is that that is something that is you can work on that and train it. It's difficult, right, to actually get your mental better. It's not easy, right? But it is something that you can. Everyone has their own solution to like how to not get as angry at fighting games or how to be nicer to themselves when they're learning or whatever. But I would have used the BC or fuzzy match to try to DP in the situation, but it's kind of held it all here. Yeah. I mean at the very end here, you do try to BC. I think this is more so it's just a panic because like you whiffed and you don't know what's going on. And I think, to be honest, I'm surprised that didn't hit you. So I think you thought that hit you and tried to BC it, right? This more here is more of a scramble situation than anything. But I think the big thing here is just mental, honestly. I think you were playing very well, you made a mistake, and then your mental boomed, and that's fine, that happens. I for sure thought that hits. Dude, in the replay, I'm like, wait, that didn't hit? Like, that close, I actually don't know why that close H didn't hit, to be real with you, right? But yeah, I mean, you've learned a lot about that. You're better at that now, and that's fine, right? I guess, I mean, there is a very nebulous conversation to have here about, like, how do you improve your mental, right? it's the thing that I've been saying basically since I started this channel, right? Of like, I think one of the best things is to just always focus on, like, the idea, like, so if for something like this, meditate, so it works for some people, surely, but like, focus on the fact that, I mean, yes, not playing as much every day, that definitely helps. Like, if you're like grinding it out too hard, it's called, like, grind is not a word with positive connotations unless you're talking about certain contexts, right? But in terms of like learning a skill or like exerting effort, right? A grind is not a positive thing. If you're playing way too much, you'll certainly get frustrated sometimes, unless like you have to be a very certain kind of person to like play a game for like several hours every day or something like that, and maybe you're not even like winning most of those matches and not get mad, right? That is not something that most people can do, because at the end of the day, winning is always going to be more fun than losing, even if you have a good mindset, right? Winning just feels good, right? But outside of that, I'd say even in whatever amount of sets you're going to be playing every day, it's good to keep perspective, right? Like, in the grand scheme of things, and the grand scheme of, like, it's much more obvious for you now, too. Like, it's actually a good example of this being a replay that was like a month ago or whatever, right? But in the grand scheme of your journey, getting better at the fighting game, learning Zoe, right? Who gives a fuck about this one miss, right? And while it's easier to say that in hindsight, in the moment, I think you kind of let this ruin your whole match for you. But in the match, you can. It's that logic still applies. In the match, it's like, who cares about that one miss? Why do I look at the lead I have? Yeah, exactly. But like, even in the match, even if that mistake will cost you the whole set, right? It's like, oh, you made a mistake. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna try and not do that again in the future, right? Like, you have to zoom out a little bit. I think if you're too zoomed in, this is harder, easier said than done if you're like playing for stakes. If you're in bracket or something, that can be harder, because the immediate win-loss does matter a lot more. But like on ranked, or like in quick play, or in lobby matches, or in whatever, right? It's good to, I think, to zoom out and recognize every set, every interaction, every round as a step towards getting better, right? And win or lose, you're on that journey. And in fact, lose and make mistakes, you probably will learn more from that set than you would from, because sometimes you win just because like either someone like doesn't really know that you're playing a character that's like not super common and they don't know the matchup, or it's RPS and you just happen to guess right and they guess wrong like all the time, right? So like while winning is fun, winning tends to actually be less educational, right? That's why I said at the beginning of this, I'm like, this is a 2-minute replay, but if stuff is going wrong here, there's probably more to talk about. Like if this was a 2-minute clip of you just like beating the Seahawks' ass and like everything you did was what like worked, right? Maybe there'll be like a couple of things to talk about in terms of like, oh, but keep in mind your risk reward here or there or whatever. But again, think about the very basic thing that we always mention is like the best time to analyze a replay is when you get hit or lose your turn. Those are not winning outcomes, but they are learning outcomes, right? So I think it's, again, a focus on learning over winning tends to be a really good thing to try and keep your mental, in the short term at least, right? Interaction to interaction, round to round, mistake to mistake, right? It helps keep your mental a little bit stronger, I think, right? In the long term, I will say something that I don't bring up that often. I think in the long term, if you're like very focused on improvement, and I kind of see this from people sometimes. People who are, they understand that it's a journey to improve, but they feel like they aren't improving fast enough, right? In that case, actually, in like the medium to long term, a focus on improvements can actually sometimes hurt your mental, but that's not really, I wouldn't call that the mistake of the, I wouldn't say it's a mistake of focusing on improvement. I think it's a mistake of comparing yourself to other people who are improving faster than you. And that's another thing. There's like mental is such a like funny enough, we're done with this replay. I could talk about mental for the next 50 minutes. I'm gonna try not to, right? But there are so many different nuances to it, and a lot of it has been said a lot before, right? For example, everyone who's learning a fighting game learns it at different paces, because one of the big things is that it might look like an even playing field. It's not, right? Granblue is not the first fighting game to ever exist, and there is lots and lots of transferable skill in this genre, right? So if someone has played, Vanilla, for example, they played Granblue Fantasy Versus, and they've also played Dragon Ball FighterZ, and they played Guilty Gear Strive, and they played Street Fighter 6 and 5, and they played Unist, and they played BB Tag, and they played, for some reason, they played DNF Duel, right? And now they're coming here and they're playing Granblue. Guess, like, they've played 15 other fighting games. It's your first fighting game, and you're like, wait, they got to master like in 2 weeks, and I'm still in S4. One thing I hear all the time that really, like, I understand it, but like it really makes me think that. Like, it's very emblematic of this. It's like, people will say, like, I have X amount of matches, and I'm still stuck in this rank. And I'm like, listen, man, I understand what you mean when you're like, I have 3,000 matches, I have 6,000 matches, and I'm in S5, right? We're gonna get that DNF dual stray slide? You better. That game is, listen, Kazenkai, that's my boy. He EVO champion, DNF dual EVO champion. I know he enjoys that game a lot. When I didn't play it, to be fair, but I also, it didn't look like, it didn't look like it would be a game I was very interested in committing a lot of time to. But it's okay. We're not here to talk about DNF dual. We're here to talk about, you can do the same thing over and over and learn nothing. But that's not even what I'm getting out of it. And yes, if you're playing with if you're not playing with an eye towards improvement and finding flaws in your game, it's going to take you longer to bridge that gap, certainly. But I'm talking more about, it's okay to be stuck for an S rank or S plus or A rank or whatever for 6,000 games. Everyone has a learning curve, man. And if you're new to fighting games, or if you just if it hasn't clicked for you yet, maybe you're not new. Maybe you've played a bunch of other fighting games, but you've never really been maybe you've never really figured out how to look at them analytically. Maybe you've been playing most of them casually. Maybe you've had a big mental block in your game for a long time. There's lots of different reasons that people might learn at different speeds or at different rates, or they might learn. Some people will get their offense. Mostly people learn their offense way faster than everything else. It's simpler, right? But people learn different concepts at different speeds. Playing different characters will teach you different concepts at different speeds, right? So it really does. Grab was my first fighting game to focus on. Yeah, exactly. So let me give you an example, right? The first fighting game that I was I kind of wanted to get somewhat good at, right, was Dragon Ball FighterZ. It was actually my first, because I was, I'm a big Dragon Ball IP fan in general and all that, right? But that game, I was stuck in Super Saiyan 3, if you know what that rank is, you played that game. I was stuck in Super Saiyan 3, my whole, that was the highest rank I ever got to, even after playing it for, months. Which probably would be the equivalent of, roughly... That's probably, that's the equivalent of probably roughly A to S rank, right? I was stuck at I never got out of A to S rank my entire time playing Dragon Ball FighterZ, right? That's probably it's hard to make I forget the exact ranked ladder in FighterZ, but I think it was that probably is the equivalent of being stuck in A1 S5, right? I played that game for months and I was stuck in A1 S5 my entire time. I had probably hundreds, maybe thousands. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how much I played that game, but I was I had lots and lots of matches and I never got out of A1 S5 in that game because it was my first fighting game, right? Fast forward several years, I've played Strive, I played a little bit of Street Fighter 5, I played a lot of Street Fighter 6, I got to master in that game. I come into Grand Blue, right, and even then, it still takes me a while, but I got to master Lodiva, I got Sora's to master, I'm getting Vossra, I'm working on that right now. I can play in tournaments and do okay, depending on who I'm, depending on if I'm playing well or not. And in 3 months of playing Grand Blue, I got, leagues, miles, thousands of times better in 3 months of playing Grand Blue than I was in 3 months of playing Dragon Ball FighterZ, right? Because it's obviously not the same playing field at all, right? It's a whole different level of experience. So this is all to say that so forgive me, you're saying it's your first fighting game, yeah, but some people they learn quicker than others. Some people they'll pick up a genre better than others. They have more transferable experience from other things. Who knows, right? It's just because of your first fighting game doesn't mean you'll suck, but. You posted a novel? Okay, let's read this. But yeah, this is all to say, don't worry too much about how quickly you're getting better. The important thing is, if you are at all better now than you were when you first picked up the game, or a week ago, or a month ago, or whatever metric you want to measure on, right? Then that's a good thing, probably. Then you're probably chilling, right? The improvement at all is what matters. At the end of the day, everyone's gonna have different, if you want to be one of the best players in the world at a game, sure. Then we can really talk about deliberate practice and things like that, and you really want to if you want to be a top player, there's a whole other discussion, right? But if you're just trying to I just want to be good at this game that I spend a lot of my time playing, it's okay for that to take a while, man. Back then I had a mindset of wanting to improve quickly, faster than everyone else, because I felt like I was behind, and that mostly came as a result due to almost reaching burnout and relearning the game after coming back from a 4-month break. Nowadays I both know the game more, which helps me a lot personally with mental, and limiting my matches on ranked a day while doing some training matches in server has helped so much with my mental. So that feeling of being behind, that feeling of because I think a lot of new players, so there's an idea of everyone can have the same knowledge and draw different conclusions from it, right? I think a lot of new players understand what I just said. They understand that me or just if you look at any content creators, I think also get people in their head sometimes, falling behind who? Yeah, exactly, right? But people if you look at if you're playing the examples coming to my head right now is Diaphone, right? That you're playing Grand Blue, you've been playing for months. Diaphone picks your character up and gets them to master in a stream, right? He's never played your character before. He picks them up, he gets them to master in 3 hours, and you have spent 6 months in A rank, and you're like, what the fuck, right? And you understand, right? You understand that he's much more experienced or something like that. But even with that knowledge, instead of being like, oh, okay, he's much more experienced, of course he's gonna pick things up faster, you think, oh, it's like it like double tilts you, because you're like, not only am I bad, but like everyone else is also just ahead of me baseline. Like they hear, oh, it's not an even starting field, and it's not even playing fields. People started ahead of you, and they go, oh, that just means they have to, instead of thinking, oh, okay, it means I have to take things at my own pace. You know, look at my peers, look at similar people in my skill level. There's lots of people worse than me, people better than me. I got to keep that in perspective. What they think is, oh fuck, I gotta like really catch up now, right? Instead, it's like, oh god, like I'm screwed, right? Like they're already better than me, and they're learning faster. Like it's a double negative to them, instead of like a calming thing, instead of like someone that reassures them, like, okay, I shouldn't compare myself to that guy. It's like, oh, okay, so I have to like double kill myself to like really try and catch up. And that is bad for many reasons, right? Like, one, listen, it's not gonna happen. You could be like, you're not, like, if someone has years and years and years of fighting game experience, and you are picking up your first fighting game, and you're trying to compete with them, right? I don't think it's insulting at all to say that like you're in for disappointment, right? If you're trying to like use them as like inspiration, sure. But if you're like, you know, it's an extreme example. So I like using extreme examples to prove the points. Also, Wildcard Zero, thanks for the follow. Let's use this extreme example through a point, right? Like, you know, Diaphone, top player, you know, placed really well at Evo, like wins or places very well. Lots of Granblue again is like, that was like his game. Like originally, like Granblue Fantasy Versus was like the game that you like really popped onto the scene with, and was like kicking acid in vanilla, right? So if you're just like a guy who's like, this is your first fighting game, and you're like, damn, I gotta go beat this Diaphone guy, you're gonna get your shit rocked, right? There's no, like, that is setting a very unreasonable goal for yourself. Now again, most people aren't there, right? But even if like you have your something much more common, for example, is that's a good point too, Forgiven. Yeah, Diaphone shows you what fundies can do. Yes, but the thing is, you can take information in positive or negative ways. I'm talking to people right now, take it in negative ways, right? A much more common thing, I think, is like maybe you have like a friend who got you into the game, you know? Like you have a friend who plays a lot of fighting games, they convince you to get this one, and you know, it had a free version, and you know, and you like Narmike, you have big boobs or something, you know? But like, your friend is experienced, and he just keeps, every time you play, he's maybe nice about it, but he beats your ass, right? Like it's not even close. Like maybe he like lets you win one, and then, you know, he does the gamer lead, and every now and then he wants to remind you that he's better or something like that, and he beats your ass, right? And you're like, man, I gotta catch up to that guy. Again, that's not a good mindset to have. I think it's important. You know, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's an ego problem. Okay, I think a lot of people that I notice who have this like, I haven't improved enough over X period of time. It's an ego problem, right? You feel like you should be able to do in a few months what took other people years, and therefore you are like, what the hell am I doing, right? I know it comes off as like a lack of confidence. It's like, oh man, I should be better than this. I'm so bad. But a lot of the times, I had a long discussion with someone in the server at one point too, right? But a lot of the times, I think it's actually an ego problem masquerading as humility, right? It's like, I feel like, yeah, I know this took you years, but I should be able to do it right now because I'm built different. Like, I should be able to learn, like, why can't I do what, you know, again, this as for the extreme example, you know, why can't I do what took Diaphone 6 years to build up? Why can't I get there in a couple months, right? So, like, you need to sit down, recognize, like, learning that you are bad is a very important, and this is gonna, I know it sounds a little harsh, but, like, understanding that you are shit, right? Like, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're just new, but being new means you're bad, right? Being new means you're bad, and you have to understand that you're bad, and you have to understand that not being bad is very difficult, right? You're not gonna go like you can be a new player and, like, you know, watch a Seijan video on, like, neutral fundamentals, right? You're still gonna be bad. You can't just, like, read a book and learn how to play fighting games. There is no substitute for experience and for training and for practice and for just time in the goddamn mines sometimes. You know what I mean? Right? So, setting realistic goals for yourself is important. Right? And it's hard to know what realistic goals are. But I think it's okay when you're new to a skill. It's okay to set a goal that is maybe, conservative. Don't shoot for the stars right away. As you learn more and more what you can do, then you can be like, okay, yeah, so it's realistic for me to try and, get X amount better in whatever, in however many months or whatever, right? It's also understanding you shouldn't play the game to win. You should play to have fun and improve. Yeah. No, that's so, yeah. We're like, baseline, you should play to improve. This is like a second layer thing I see a lot. So people are playing to improve, but they feel like they should be improving faster than they are. That is like, that again, that's a wrong assumption for so many reasons. The rate you are improving at is the rate you will improve at, right? Now, are there things you can do to speed that up? Sure. Yeah, you can, again, you can, funny enough, again, you can not grind so much, just like in the gym, for example. Overtraining is a thing. If you play like 12 hours of Grand Blue a day, you're not going to have fun. And if you don't have fun, you're not going to learn, right? And also, you're going to be overloading your brain with information, right? Obviously, like, as cliche as it sounds, it's real shit. Sleeping well, eating well, staying hydrated, making sure that your life is in order, right? If you're hopping on ranked and like you just got in a fight with your girlfriend or your mom or something like that, that's not going to work either, right? So like that stuff also matters. Replay review. So what we're doing right now, right? Replay review. Actually being analytical about your play, right? Thinking about being honest with yourself. So there's a mix here of like, you want to be honest with yourself, right? In the sense that you want to, when you make a mistake, you don't want to be like, their character's broken, whatever, like I just guessed wrong. Like if you made a mistake, be honest and be like, I screwed that up. But at the same time, give yourself grace and understand that you can make mistakes and that's fine. Like there's a both of those things can be true. What I just did there was bad or poor play or a bad decision, and I am a human being worthy of love and value, right? Some of y'all motherfuckers, like, hold on. Where's that Sonic picture? Some of y'all motherfuckers, like, I showed this before too, but hold on, yeah, some of y'all, the depths of despair that I see some people fall into, and again, it tends to be these same people, by the way. Why am I not improving as fast as I want to improve, right? But some of y'all motherfuckers really need to see this one. You know what I mean? Like. Listen. I know saying it's only a game. Why you have to be mad is not. It doesn't really apply to some people, right? I get that. But like at the same time, it's because a skill. People tie their self-worth sometimes to like how good they are at certain things, especially if you're younger or something. Like how good you are at a video game might be something you tie your self-image or self-worth to or something. That's a whole other thing, right? But what I'm saying is, even if it's really, really important for you to get better at this game, even still, it's okay, man. Like it's okay. You can make a mistake or have a long way to go or be bad at the video game and still be like a valuable human being. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like I know that, by the way, some of y'all are gonna be like, well, you're blowing out of proportion. Like what is this is not a problem. You're fighting ghosts, right? Nah, man. I got a 900 member Discord server and I don't talk in it that much. But I see how motherfuckers talk sometimes. Like I have a very large sample size of like a public forum where people just like they lose a game and they start it gets crazy sometimes. You know what I mean? So like it's real. I got shimmied by life is worthless. Yeah, like as funny as that sounds, right? Motherfuckers will be like, I got shimmied. Like I need my life is worthless for real, right? Like it's okay, man. Like again, I find and those are people who are like. They are putting a very heavy burden of improvement on themselves that is unrealistic, and then when they fail to meet their unrealistic goal, they feel like a failure, right? The core issue there is the unrealistic goal, which again, I think they think it's realistic because they have an ego problem they haven't realized yet, right? So, just check your ego at the door. I have seen someone talk suicidally. That's insane, but yeah, right? Like, check your ego at the door. It's okay. You're like accepting that you're bad is a great step one, because once you're bad, suddenly you can only go up from there, right? If you have this weird like dissonance in your head, they're like, nah, like I'm pretty good. I just this is the SpongeBob meme. I'm pretty good. I just need to work on my neutral, blocking, aggression, footsies, fundy, like Okaizi. What I'm talking about? Like accepting that you just, you're new, or even if you're not new, you're just bad, right? You're bad, and you got a long way to go. That's a great place to start, right? Because from there, it's much easier to give yourself grace, and then you can just focus on all the things you are improving at. Now, that moment of accepting that I'm kind of shit at this game, that's gonna hurt. but it's okay. It's a little bit more short-term hurt to avoid a lot of long-term hurt that's going to come from that cognitive dissonance of like, why am I not master rank yet? Why have I not won fucking TNS yet? Why have I not, or, you know, in a smaller context, you know, why am I not, why haven't I gotten out of S rank yet? You know, why have I not done X or Y or Z yet? Because you're bad, and that's fine. It's okay to be bad, right? And like almost everyone is bad, right? Like, and like everyone has a very, very long way to go, right? Like unless your ass is like, bro, like even, I was gonna say unless you're like right now, like by player base, by metrics, I for example, I'm in like the top 1% or something of player base for Granblue, right? I have a lot of shit to work on. Everyone is always going to have a lot of stuff they're doing wrong, and they're going to have a lot of stuff they can work on. And the better you get, okay, you know what? Okay, you know, I guess we're doing this. How many of you know what the Dunning-Krueger effect is? Any knowers? So here's another thing that I think caused a lot of problems for some of these fellas, right? Right? No idea? Okay, let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about the Dunning-Krueger effect, because it's something that these same people, the problem is, right? As people get, so the idea here is that the worse you are at something, the less you know about how much there is to know about it, and therefore the better you think you are. Yes, Miyato, you're exactly correct. There you go. Miyato is exactly right. Yeah, so you see it right here, right? So when you're really new to something, I think, and this is where a lot of this ego problem comes from with these people, right? The guy who has been stuck in S rank for a bit, and like, I think a lot of them will be like, yeah, like I know X, Y, or Z person has like more experience, so of course they're better, right? But they don't really realize, like they don't fully understand, because how could they? They don't know, they haven't been there. They don't know how much time goes into, yeah, it's the soy, yeah, well, yeah, it's like the soy jacks, but it's a little bit different, yeah, but yes. They don't understand, like, again, to go back to the Diaphone example, you know, Diaphone's the GOAT, let's just use him as a comparison, right? So, like, they don't understand, like, they can just say, like, by the way, Alias6, thanks for the follow. Like, if you tell them, hey, do you think Diaphone's better than you? They'll be like, yeah. They don't realize the cavernous, the Grand Canyon between them and him. Like, no, yeah, he has a little bit more experience. No. There's a lot that you don't even understand about the game, that you haven't even, like, thought about the game, that he's been practicing for a while, and that's why he's gonna beat your ass, right? So, like, this is where the ego problem stems from, I think, right? It's, a lot of y'all don't know what you're talking about, and therefore, you don't realize how long you have to go, and therefore, you get surprised when you're like, wait, why am I not on the same level as all these people a few months in, right? This is not just for fighting games, by the way. We're talking about fighting games. It's for any skill, right? And so then, a lot of y'all are here, right? You're like, it's the, okay, this is a very common thing in Smash, because Smash is a much more casual, friendly game. Do you know that, like, I'm too good to play my friends, but I'm not good enough to, like, play good people, right? That means you're bad, right? Like, if you're, if you're good enough to, like, beat people who don't know what they're doing, right? Those people think they're good, but they're actually shit, right? And I've had, like, as someone who, like, got pretty damn good at Smash, I had this experience a lot, right? Where people will be like, people will be talking about, like, I'd be at a party or something, I'd be like, bro, you wanna play, like, I'm pretty good, and I'm like, listen, like, bro, don't, like, don't do this, right? Like, I don't wanna, they're like, nah, bro, I'm just, like, I beat all my friends all the time, and I'm like, but, like, don't, you know, like, I had a buddy, me and a buddy who, like, went to tournaments together, you know what I mean? There's this one, like, it's happened often, right? Like, because, you know, it's very common, like, dang, I'm trash at Smash, yeah, so people are like, lots of people are like, you know, again, they're good enough to beat all their friends who have no idea what they're doing, and they're like, bro, bro, you wanna play some Smash, bro? I will beat your ass in Smash, I'm so good at Smash, and I'm like, nah, like, I'm like, nah, bro, like, because, like, you know, like, oh, bro, like, my friends told me, like, you play Smash, bro, you gotta play, I'm gonna beat your ass, right? And then it's like, you know, the gap is clarified to them, right? Because they're over here, right? Now, I will say, some of y'all, this is cultured here. I don't know about this. I won't call this cultured. Some of y'all are certainly right here, right? And this is also, I think, a lot of people fall into like, as they get better, they realize that they're, like, how shit they are compared to, like people who are really good, people that might be looking to comparing themselves to incorrectly, right? And they're like, oh, okay, it's hopeless. But no, also, like, to tackle all parts of this curve, right? No, that, like, it's good that you understand that now, and it can be daunting, but now you understand that it's like, okay, yeah, like, at that point, you should have enough context to, like, understand that, okay, everyone has to go through this long journey, and it's just normal for me, right? There's gonna be a dip where you're, like, suddenly your confidence in your ability to play the video game is gonna go down a lot as you, like, And this is usually the first time that you, like, with open eyes, with honest eyes, play someone who's way better than you and are good enough to realize how much they picked you apart, right? Because it can be misleading sometimes, right? I know that there's the really old Sajam video about, like, I do so well against top players, but I don't, but you know, I get randomed out by scrubs, right? And it's like, it was a Street Fighter 5 video, I think, right? But the idea of, like, oh, you know, like, I survived for 30 seconds against Daigo, I was pretty damn good at Street Fighter, right? But it's all these random ass scrubs are beating my ass. Once you get past, like, that blindness and realize, oh no, like, okay, I was just getting, like, you know, top players or really good players don't just, like, play to kill you a lot of the time. They, like, play to learn you, play to understand you, download you, and then never lose to you ever again. So that's why it'll take longer for them to, like, you know, like, they'll play slower and play less risky at first until they download you, right? And once you realize, like, truly how outclassed you are right there, some people, once again, we get back to here, right? Some people, once again, we get back to here. Some people, it's like, listen, man, like, it's fine, right? I understand you have a long way to go, but that doesn't mean that you're garbage, right? Because actually, you gotta look at all these motherfuckers and realize that you're way better than them, right? It's just, all you have now is you are burdened with knowledge. You are burdened with knowledge that you have a long way to go, but that doesn't mean you're like at this point, you're probably actually good. You're just not, you know, you're not top, like, at this point, you're probably actually, like, you know, you're good at whatever you're trying to do. You're just not world class or like a top player or whatever, right? Or like, or, you know, one of the best people in your country, whatever, right? But you're probably good here. And it's because you're good that you realize you're kind of ass, right? So if you get to this point, calm down. It's okay. It's a long journey, and you'll be fine. If you're here right now, check your ego at the door, right? And again, I think, funny enough, a lot of people who are like people, so it's two different kinds of dooming, right? These people are like, I don't think I'll ever get good enough to be good at the video game, right? These people are like, why am I not great at the video game yet, right? Like, why am I not master rank? Why am I not S++? Why haven't I gotten out of S rank? Whatever, right? If you're finding yourself thinking, why have I not improved at X rate? You're here. Calm down. You got a long way to go. And, you know, you're worse than you think you are. Accept that and move forward. If you're here, you're good. Just chill. Just calm down. And it'll be fine. You understand you have a long way to go, but you'll be okay. Okay? Okay. Because this is, again, what we're talking about. So let me recap. This went way longer than I thought. I did not expect to be looking at the fucking Dunn and Krueger graph right now, right? Which reply was posted, it was the first peak, and now that I'm on that slow curve up after the chasm. Yeah, so, for example, that's a good point, Azure. Yeah, so, by the way, in case you forgot, this is a replay review video, but let's contextualize this again, right? So, for example, right, Azure makes this mistake, where is it? They make this mistake, where's that miss? It's right here, right? So, Azure right here, probably, for a small mistake like this, to blow you up, blow up your mental as much as it is, this is where prescriptive lingo comes in, right? Azure probably was here, and you know, they're saying in the chat right now they are, but it makes sense too. Why? Because that's where you start, like, when you're here, if you catch yourself saying, that shouldn't have happened, I should have won that, oh, I shouldn't have made that mistake, right? You're probably here, right? If you're using prescriptive words, aka should versus, like, prescriptive is saying how things should be versus descriptive saying how they are, right? Instead of saying, I lost, I made a mistake, you're saying, I shouldn't have made that mistake, he shouldn't have won that, or, you know, he just got lucky that he made this mistake, or that round shouldn't have gone that way, or this shouldn't be happening right now. If you're saying shit like that, you're probably here. And I guarantee you, after Azure makes this mistake and their mental booms for the next minute 30 and they get one and done by the Seahawks and, like, quit the game for a week, that's where they were right there, right? And that's why this one mistake hit them as hard as it did. Because the whole time they're like, I should have won this, he should be dead already, I shouldn't be in this position, I blah, 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 and that's what leads to you, like, mashing on everything, right? Because you're just like, I shouldn't be here, I need to bring justice back to the world by taking my turn back, because it should, again, look at all the shoulds, it should still be my turn right now, right? That's where you get into mental boom. Getting to Masters made my ego skyrocket but got immediately humbled. Yeah, again, there's like a Matryoshka doll in here, right? There's not one of these curves, right? It looks more like there's lots and lots of these curves. Like, there's lots of plateaus and peaks and plateaus and peaks, right? But yeah, like, when you first get to master, probably, there's like a big dopamine high of like, damn, I'm good, right? But the funny thing about master in this game, especially the way it's constructed, right, is like, your first game in master, there is no skill-based matchmaking in master, right? Like, once you're a master, it's the ocean, right? And you're like, you just got to master, you're feeling hot, you just won 4 out of your 5 matches in promos, man. You're damn good at the video game, and you are, like literally you are, right? To the whole player base, you are good, right? Like you're 1% of the 1 to 2% of the player base, right? But then, like, your very first match in master could very easily be like, you know, I don't know, can of Sprite or something. And then you're like, oh fuck. Oh, goddamn. Oh, okay. No. Oh, shit. Like, once again, you go from here to here again, right? Like, you're like, oh, like you got master results against Gamera. Oh no, yeah, exactly. Like that's a really extreme example. But again, right? I got can of Sprite on my first day of masters. Exactly, right? Like again, you just won 4 out of your 5 S++ promo matches. You're feeling really hyped. You're feeling great, and then you run into you run into Lazy Ruin or Can of Sprite or Fuselit or something like that, right? And you're like, you once again, so you were already here early, then you got down to here, then you moved up to there, and then you came back to here, and you got down to here, and you moved up to there, and then you got to masters, and you're here. And then Can of Sprite puts you right back here, right? And you're like, oh, fuck, right? So again, it's like a Matryoshka doll, right? There's lots and lots of these curves that you go over, right? But that's, again, it's fine. But it's important to just realize that that shit is hard, man. It's got, like, it's again, let me recap. I'm kind of go, I don't want to go too much on here, but to recap, right? There's sort of multiple levels to this. Baseline. If you are, you say you are here, showing with the mouse and showing, oh, my bad. I'm going through, like, ignorant, cultured, expert. It's kind of looping through it. Thanks for that. I didn't notice. Okay, also, YSS Core, thanks for the follow. All right, but here's the thing, right? So to recap, there are kind of multiple levels of this. The baseline, the fully, like, unevolved, unless you're playing the game super casually, right, then it's fine, obviously. But if you playing to win baseline, not good. You're gonna not have fun. You're gonna get angry. You're not gonna get better. You're gonna get taught things that work against people in your skill level right now, right? That work in the short term, but don't work in the long term. But you're winning, so it's fine. So just winning being your primary goal. Bad, horrible, worst case scenario. All right, cool. Get that out of the way. Now we focus on improvement. That's good. Improvement is good. That's well and good. It's a good thing to have an eye to improvement in any skill instead of an eye to immediate results, which is what winning is, right? Immediate gratification, immediate results is never a good thing. Improving is that delayed gratification. But now we get to the next step, that problems we've been talking about for the past 30 minutes, right? If you're like, why am I not improving fast enough? You're probably here. You don't understand how long the journey is. It's not just fighting games, by the way. Any skill, bro. You want to get better at fucking League of Legends? I think it's harder than fighting it, for real. Like, getting really good at League feels harder to me than getting really good at fighting games. Probably because I have more experience at fighting games, sure. If you want to get really good at fucking doing a backflip, if you want to get really good at, bench pressing really heavy weights, if you want to get really good at writing books, right? It's a long journey. And if you're saying, why am I not at X spot yet? You're here. It's fine. Try and think about that and realize that, okay, it's just a really long journey. That's how it's going to go, right? If you have actually gotten a little bit better and you're like, holy shit, it's so over, bros. You realize how much better everyone else is than you, and you're like, I can never, ever be good. Again, calm down. It's fine. They all had to go over this curve too. Right? I mean, if you're here, you don't need this video, right? But if you have your own very different set of struggles. If you're like truly one of if you're one of the best people who play a video game, it's so personal at that point, right? With that being said, you might notice a pattern here, and Fox hit on it before I did. Good job. I was gonna kind of wrap it up with this. You notice how in every one of these levels I'm like, just calm down, it'll be okay, right? The through line here, is that, and bro, after a 50-minute video on this, you gotta roll your eyes at me. The through line, it's not just for video games. It's not just for going to the gym. It's not just for doing backflips. It's not just for writing books. Is even better than focusing on improvement. It's good to have that in mind. Have fun. You can call it a cliche. You could say that's not helpful advice. No, fuck you, you're wrong. If you're saying that, you're probably here again, right? Have fun. If you are having fun, you will get better. If you are having fun, you can play for longer. If you are having fun, you can learn, like you can, if you're having fun with a game, you can be like, oh, what I did there was wrong, but you can laugh about it. Like, oh, what the fuck is wrong? Why did I DP there? You know, ha 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 ha. Instead of, why did I DP there? I should go to hell and I should die alone, right? So you can analyze your gameplay better. You can learn more, you can play for longer, and experience helps. If you're having fun, you can play for longer without getting tilted, right? Have fun in every one of these stages. If you are not having fun, either try and figure out why you're not, or if it's just like not fun to you, stop, right? We've talked about a lot of shit, and it's all relevant, but at its core, the base level is focusing on winning, bad. The second level is focusing on improvement, you know, that's good, but realistically, have fun. Have improvement be the secondary goal. I say this every time I make a I have a video where I have a rough rank session or something. Me personally, I have a 4-pronged structure, a 4-tiered structure. My number 1 goal every time I boot up the game is to have fun. My number 2 goal, because I'm a content creator, is for you guys to have fun. I come first, my bad. My number 3 goal is to get better. My number 4 goal is to win. Okay? So, even if I'm not winning and I'm not really improving because I'm playing badly, right? At least I'm having fun, so my top priority is still happening. It's easier said than done to like keep that mentality, but if you aim at having that mentality, and of course most of you aren't content creators, so like the person watching you having fun doesn't matter, but like, you know, me having fun, me getting better, me winning, if you can keep those priorities, you're gonna do way better, right? I think that's it. I talked about a lot of goddamn shit. I think that's it. I'll get to your question in a second there. Balenza Bandit. Oh, Balenza Bandit. Nice. I'll get to you in a second. But well, let's send YouTube on their way right here and finish off this replay review. Which, by the way, I mean, is this a fucking? It's a Hall of Fame yapping. I think I said like 35 minutes ago that I could talk about mental as a concept. I could talk about it for like 40 minutes, but I don't want to. Fucking oops. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, this I think a 2-minute replay into 51-minute video has got to be that's got to be a new record, right? That's got to be a new moon record. But you know, this is this is important. I think it's important. I think it's a lot of y'all. I keep opening up the same tab. Like a lot of y'all need to hear this. Okay, so let's just why not? This is why I'm never gonna get fucking anywhere. I'm never gonna get anywhere with these replay. Look how long the scroll bar is, man. I have so many to go through. I'm just never gonna get through them all. Okay. Well, stream. We're gonna be talking about this ever since I joined the stream at the 7-minute mark. I'm doing my best, dog. I don't know what to tell you. We're gonna talk about we're gonna play some Lediva in a second here. But first, we're gonna get YouTube on their way. So YouTube, hope you guys had a good time. As always, you know what it is. I mean, I don't say this video did not go the direction I thought it would, but you know, it ended up where it went. So as always, any kind of like, subscribes, comments, bells help out a lot on this sort of thing. You know, let me know. Especially like this was basically not. This is more like a discussion video than a replay review. We talked about Azure for like 10 minutes. I talked about this forever, right? So, but yeah, if you like this kind of thing, let me know. Besides that, I also stream every day from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to come by and hang out, I would encourage you to do so. We have fun around here, except Fridays. I don't stream on Fridays. I also have a Discord. This one right here is you're looking at right now. If you want to come by and, you know, make some friends, learn about the fighting game, post replays in here to be reviewed by other people. I'll get to them, but if you post one right now, I'll get to it in like a month. So my bad. But you know, it's a good community overall. A good place to make friends, learn about the video game, etc. So I'd encourage you to join. If you do join though, be nice, or I'll shoot you in the head in Minecraft. Most importantly, hope you had a great time hanging out today. As always, I know I sure did. Having a lot of fun with Granblue and these replay reviews. I can't believe this is a 53-minute video, but oh well. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.